Hello history enthusiasts. In today's video, I'm taking you to the heart of the 2nd millennium BC, to the mysterious and chilling rituals of the Elamite civilization. In these lands, under the dim light of ancient temples, we are unlocking the doors to a history written in the blood and fire of sacrifices offered to the gods. This video is not just a history lesson, it's a journey where you'll peel back the curtain on a mystery thousands of years old. Are you ready? Then, before we embark on this bloody and fiery journey, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Your support is crucial for these types of videos to continue. Now, close your eyes and transport yourself 4,000 years back to Susa, the capital of Elam. Around you, mud brick buildings rise, and people are busy with their daily lives. But in the heart of the city, there is a structure grander and more magnificent than anything else, the Inshushinak Temple. This temple wasn't just a place of worship, it was the gateway for the Elamite gods to the world. And to enter this gate, we need to understand the Elamites' deepest beliefs, their greatest fears, and their most shocking rituals. The gods of the Elamites were powerful, but they were equally demanding. To show them respect, to please them, and to win their favor, sacrifices were offered. But these were no ordinary offerings. Sometimes valuable objects, sometimes animals, and according to some sources, even humans were part of these rituals. So, why? Why would a civilization feel the need to offer its own people or its most valuable possessions to its gods? The answer to these questions lies in the cosmology of Elam and the deep symbolism of its sacrificial rituals. As with many ancient civilizations, the Elamites believed that the balance of the universe was maintained by the gods. When this balance was disrupted, disasters were inevitable: drought, famine, war. And the only way to restore this balance was to offer the most valuable thing to the gods. A sacrifice was not just a gift, but also an act of exchange and purification. The blood of the sacrifice would fertilize the earth, while its soul would appease the wrath of the gods. Now let's get to the most striking part of these rituals: blood and fire. In Elamite temples, these ceremonies, led by priests, were a perfect blend of visual spectacle and terror. Animal sacrifices were performed with special rites, their blood poured onto the altar stone. The flesh of the sacrifice was burned in fire as an offering to the gods, and the rising smoke and smell of soot filled the temple atmosphere. Sometimes, the bones of the sacrificed animals were used to read the omens of the gods. So, were these sacrificial rituals limited to animals? Although sources don't provide complete clarity on this matter, archaeological findings and inscriptions suggest that in some exceptional cases, human sacrifices may have also occurred. Especially during a major catastrophe or an important royal ceremony, the offering of a human as the greatest sacrifice could have been seen as a last resort to gain the gods' attention. While this horrifying act is difficult for modern eyes to comprehend, for the Elamites, it was the ultimate sacrifice made for the survival of their civilization. This kind of information always prompts us to think deeply. What were the motivations of these people? Did they truly believe that these actions were demanded by the gods, or were these rituals used to solidify the control of the ruling class and the clergy over the populace? What do you think? What emotions do these Elamite rituals stir in you? Share your thoughts with me in the comments. We must also remember that these rituals were not limited to religious beliefs. They shaped the social structure of the society and reinforced individuals' loyalty to their gods and kings. Sacrificial ceremonies were also events where the community came together, renewed their common beliefs, and strengthened their sense of belonging. In a way, they were like modern-day holidays or ceremonies. But, of course, a much darker and bloodier version, the sacrificial rituals in Elam were not merely a religious act. They also reflected the hierarchical structure and economic order of society. The royal family and nobles would typically offer larger and more valuable sacrifices, demonstrating their special connection with the gods and thus legitimizing their right to rule. Temple priests, by leading these rituals, became some of the most powerful figures in society. A portion of the sacrificial meat was distributed to the public during post-ceremony feasts, symbolizing that the gods' grace was shared with the community. In this way, sacrifices served both a religious and a political function. Just think about it, a king dedicating his most valuable horse or his best warrior to his gods. This act showed not only his faith but also his willingness to make the greatest sacrifice for his people. Stories found in Elamite inscriptions emphasize that kings were under divine protection and would do anything to ensure it. This increased the people's trust in their kings and ensured the continuation of social order. The issue of human sacrifice is one of the most debated topics in Elamite archaeology. While direct evidence is rare, unusual burial practices in some tombs and allusions in written sources point to the existence of this horrific practice. For instance, sometimes skeletons of individuals who were not warriors or nobles are found honorably buried near a ruler's tomb. Such findings suggest that some may have been sent to their death with their master. It is claimed that human sacrificial rituals in Elam, especially during royal funerals, occurred in the form of sacrificing attendants to serve the deceased ruler in the afterlife. This indicates how strong the Elamites' belief in the afterlife was. Now, I want to ask you a question. How understandable do you find it for an ancient civilization to sacrifice its own people for survival? Does this show their desperation, or is it proof of how far religion and belief can take people? Should we evaluate these rituals based on the conditions of their time, or judge them by universal moral values? To find the answers to these questions, we must continue to delve into the dusty pages of history. The rituals of Elam are not just a horrifying story but also one of the most striking examples of faith, fear, and sacrifice in human history. If you are interested in these kinds of mysterious and profound historical topics, you can check out my other videos on the channel. And of course, if you still haven't subscribed to my channel, now is the time. See you in the next video, and stay historical.